Hello faculties and students. As we all know, GATEtutor is serving students for past 15 years. It's been more than 15 years GATEtutor is helping students to prepare for GATE exams. But as the time passes by, we knew or we found out that GATEtutor should not be just limited to GATE exams or GATE tests or test series. It should be more than that. So after multiple years of research and from past 2 years of development, we have upgraded the whole GATEtutor platform and integrated so many new features which are rolling out in some time gaps, and we have integrated or we have rolled out some new features in our GATEtutor platform. The UI is totally updated, and right now today I am going to explain you how a coding test, which is a very important part of any student's curriculum or career, when especially computer science students and some other branches are there which are from which students are preparing for coding tests and IT related jobs. So we have mostly integrated practice test setting, and for students, coding playground. From playground, students can attempt any question, practice there, and also it will get recorded in their GATEtutor profile, so they can also share it in their social media. But today I am going to show you how a faculty, controller or a coordinator can set coding test, especially local test. Then we will move forward to global coding test, and also I will show you how to attempt that test from faculty perspective also and from student perspective also. Also, faculty can track users behavior from their dashboard which we have developed, where they can track all the activities performed by a student or anyone who is attempting that particular test. Faculty can track everything, even if student tries to switch tab or they try to copy paste or they try to switch tabs. It's not a restriction that we are putting on students or users, but it's just a good thing for students to follow certain rules which any company or a institute has applied for the test. There is an option for faculties to change the rules. We have given that option, and faculty can set test based on their rule base, like they can just allow student to copy paste. They can also not restrict student to a full screen only, and many more. So enough talking, let's move towards the demo. So first, this is the main landing page. From here I will log in with the faculty account. If you are already a user of GATEtutor, you will already have the credentials and you can log in. But if you are not, then you can watch the other video how to register on GATEtutor. Especially students are mostly registered via institute, so they can directly ask their faculty for their ID and password. Or if their institute is not on GATEtutor, they can just simply register themselves under that institute, any institute they are currently studying in. So here currently I will just log in via faculty account. I have multiple accounts. All of these are GATEtutor account. Let me just log in. Okay. So this is the faculty dashboard. Okay, here there are multiple information which is shown. These dashboards are vary between faculty, coordinator and controller. Coordinator and controller see some extra fields, but more or less things are similar. In other videos where controller, faculty, coordinator dashboards are explained, you can watch those videos and see how these differ from each other. So from here we can just see the sidebar. Here we have a test setting option. We'll click that. So this is a These are multiple tests: manual test, random test, pragyaya test, coding test. We will see these tests also, but right now we are only focusing on coding test. We will move toward these tests in next videos. Here, these two are local and global options. As in, if you are a previous user of GATEtutor, you mostly know that what are these options. So, but still let me explain you. A local test is a test that is assigned for your college only or for your class only, where you have the ability to assign this test to particular students, selective students. It could be your class, it could be students in your college or anyone, only in your college. And global test. So the global test is a test which is assigned by any faculty. Faculty means controller, coordinator also. So they can create a coding test and they can share the test link with anyone from any college or any institute or individual. Just they have to create their, at the time of attempting that test, they have to just register themselves on GATEtutor and they will get the access to the coding test which any faculty has set. So here we will just follow the local flow. The flows are kind of similar, just the assigning part is different. So here we have local test. We will select local. From here we will select coding section. So this is the coding test configuration. So just as you know that coding has domains and it has subdomains, like data structure has arrays, right? Similarly we have algorithms, data structures and basic program. So we will go with algorithms. Subdomain will select mathematics. We have multiple subdomains. You can just log in your account and explore those subdomains. Here for now I will directly select this question. This is count subarray with sum divisible by k. Okay, so one problem is not enough, we will select another one. There is no obligation to select multiple problems. You can just set a test with a single problem or single coding question. Here you can edit marks per question if you need to, but there is another option to edit those marks. So here we will move step by step. Okay, so these are just changing questions via these buttons. This is to select question. So here we have selected total marks, total question 2. Okay, so generally by default we have gave editable marks to each question. So if a question is hard, then it has 50 marks by default. You can update those here or there. If a question is medium, then it has 30 marks. If a question is easy, then it has 20 marks. So here both the questions are of hard difficulty. So we got 50 marks each. Okay, so if I want to change question for one marks for any one of the questions, so find first non-repeating element. If I think this question is for easy difficulty, then I can just change the most marks to 30. But here the restriction is that your total sum of the marks should be sum of the those question you have assigned marks. Okay, so here currently it's 80, so I'll just write here 80, and so here we are. So even if you don't, if you had multiple questions and you just don't want to calculate for each question's mark, then you can just click the distribute total marks evenly. So here in total marks I have added 100. If I click on distribute total marks evenly, the 100 marks will get divided by n, which are number of questions you have added. Here currently we have added 50. So I'll just name this test as local GT test. And so there is no limitation for time, just I will assign 60 minutes because these are hard questions. Number of questions are 2. So here we have start date, end date, start time and end time. So this is a general format how a test is created in GATEtutor like in our previous product, but still I'll explain that. So start date is a test on which on the day your test will get started. If you create a test for 10th of July 7:17 in the evening, then this test will start at this time on this date, but it will not end until the date you have added. So if any user logins in the test, then he will get 60 minutes from the time they have logged in the test. So I'll just update this to 8. Okay, 8 p.m. to 11th of July. Yeah, these writing boards are tricky to handle. Okay, let me just do this. So this test is 24-hour test. Okay, so on the next day at this time the test will end. So these are the options I was previously talking about: enable proctoring, apply breach rule, require full screen, and block paste. So enable proctoring, what this means: if you disable this, you won't be able to track what users are doing, or you won't be able to track users activity. So here I am just keeping it enabled because I want to track what the users who are attempting this particular test are doing, which we can see on the dashboard, which will come in next video. Apply breach rule. This tab is interesting because if you disable this tab, if user does anything, they won't get disqualified from the test. They will be able to submit their test easily, even if they try to switch tab and all that. It will get recorded, but they will not get disqualified. So we'll just apply this breach rule. The limit is 3, so that means if by mistake any user's tab get closed, or this tab gets switched, or their mouse moves from this tab to a different tab, then they will they won't get flagged by this single activity. They will get warning that they shouldn't do anything like that. Okay. Require full screen. If you take this option, the user's page will always open in full screen. Even if they try to exit that full screen, they will get warning, and if 3 times they will get warning, the user will get disqualified. Block paste, this is optional, but you should keep it enabled. We will check, because by enabling this, user won't be able to copy or paste anything from that tab. Okay, so let me just click on create coding test. The test is successfully created. If I click OK, I will get redirected to the assigning page. Here there are multiple tests created because we are recording multiple demos every day. So if you can't find your test, by the way I can see the test here, but if you can't find the test, there are multiple tests, then you can just click here and apply the coding test filter. Here the local test is there. Now we have 6 options here. This option is to edit the test. I will just click that and I'll show you how it looks. Okay, so here you can edit these parameters of the test. These are the questions selected. If you want to update any question from the existing test, you can do that via this UI. Okay, so currently I don't want to update anything, but if you think you need to do it, I'll create a different video about that, and you can just check that how to update your coding test. Okay, so here we have second option is to assign coding test to any user. So if I assign this test to any user, they will be able to attempt that particular test. But if I directly copy the link, this tab is to copy the link. If I directly copy the link and if I share it with anyone, if this test is not assigned to them, they won't be able to attempt this test. Okay, so this option is to reschedule the existing test. I can just reschedule this test, because if you don't want to go with the editing flow, then you can just directly. This tab is to check the proctoring of the test, what users are doing. And this one, as the symbol suggests, this one is to delete any test, but you can't delete a test once it is assigned or once it is started. Here we have multiple users of this particular institute. This is a demo institute which we have created, which is our internal testing, or which is for demos. So here I'll just select all the users in Microsoft Institute of Technology, and this test will get assigned to those users. Okay. These are two filters, by the way, students and faculty. Okay. Here, if you click here, you will see how many users, who are the users that are attempting this test currently. This one is to check how many got disqualified from the exam. This one is to see how many lost their network and how many students or users tab got closed abnormally. This one is to see for whom you did not assign the test. This one is to check for whom you assign the test. This one is to check how many have submitted their test, and this one is for all. Okay. So we have checked and explained and understood what is the flow of local coding test setting, and in the next video we'll see how to attempt this local test which we just have set. Okay, see you soon.